Wow, I was 3 seconds slower today on my jog run, but at least I got up. I got up a little later than I normally do, but it's okay. I got some friends this morning that ran with me the whole way. Basically the whole way, except for like the first, like, what do you think, bro? Like 1 minute? Yeah. But just doing the same old here. I talked to one guy from New Zealand. They call them kiwis out there. Not because of the fruit or they act fruity, but because of the bird. It's the national bird. I didn't know that. I also didn't know that people from Switzerland speak French, but now I do. The water, by the way, is super clear today. Like, look at that. It's a nice way to start your morning. But anyways, this New Zealand guy was telling me he was traveling one night, and this was like the only bad travel night that he's had, which was he was walking home from a bar. He said it wasn't even that late. He said it was like midnight, and these guys appeared out of nowhere, and they were kind of like checking him a little bit. Morning. And he just kept walking. He was with his girlfriend, and then another set of two guys appeared, but his girlfriend didn't notice, but he noticed, and they were following him for a little bit, and he kept like checking, and then they would be like, what, and he said this happened like 4 or 5 times. And I asked him, I go, different guys or like the same guys? Maybe they had like little shortcuts, you know, like in video games where you take little shortcuts and you pop out of nowhere. He's like, no, these were different guys. But he said he went home and checked online, and apparently this is a sort of scam that they do, which is they'll pressure you into buying drugs, and I'm assuming call the cops and set you up, or just pressure you for money. But they do it by intimidation because they're like big buff dudes, which was pretty interesting. And he said it was like the first day of his travel, so it kind of put like a bitter taste in his mouth. But it kind of reminded me of the time when I was at a bar abroad. And here's the thing, these people are clever, because allegedly this guy was trying to talk to this girl, but this girl didn't like this guy. And I was with my friends, and I made eye contact with her, and so I walked over and started talking with her, and this guy did not like that. And so obviously I'm funny, so I was making her laugh loudly. We got chickens in the trees, chicken trees, and a few moments later, a beer gets knocked over from an elbow, and it goes all over her, and a little on me, but mainly on her. And it's 3 guys, and they're all laughing right next to us. And so I tap them on the shoulder from behind. I'm tapping them just to say like, hey man, you accidentally spilled your beer, can you get us some napkins to wipe it up? Because no one wakes up in the morning and says, the first thought that comes to their brain is, you know what, today I'm gonna go to a bar and spill a beer on someone and just ruin their day. You know, it's like when accidents happen, like if someone like plugs in something and breaks the cord, it's like, I'm sure they didn't wake up that morning and be like, you know what, I'm gonna break the one blender we have at this restaurant and just cause chaos. So you gotta be a little more sensitive in that respect. But with this guy, he didn't want sensitivity. He wanted a fight. And so I kept tapping him, and he wasn't responding. So I was tapping him a little harder, and he wasn't responding. But his friend kept like looking at me a little bit. So I'm like, dude, dude, you guys have napkins over there? And he's like, napkins? No napkins. And I was like, okay. I'm like, because your buddy here spilled a beer on accident on us. But I think what he wanted me to do was to keep like tapping him like harder and harder and harder until it turns into a push. And then at that point, it's me pushing a guy in a bar, and then a fight breaks out. But that wasn't needed to initiate a fight because he did it all himself. So he overheard me say that he accidentally spilled a beer. Actually, I don't even think I said accidentally. I said, you spilled a beer. Because he did. Whether it's an accident or not, you spilled the beer. And I'll have empathy towards you, but I mean, just acknowledge that you spilled it. And he goes, oh, beer? Here. And he just slides me a new one. And I'm like, bro, we don't want a new beer. And mind you, I think I was only 2 beers in, so I wasn't even really, I was working on my second beer. And he goes, I go, I don't want your beer. I go, you spilled a beer on her. And she was like, no, you don't need to make a scene. I'm like, but he needs to know. You know what I mean? And when I'm abroad, usually I'm very like calm and I try not to cause issues. But I'm just assuming that he was just so drunk he didn't even notice, you know, because if I spilled a beer on someone, I would typically buy them a drink or, you know, have some compassion. But he didn't. And so he goes, so you're telling me I spilled a beer on you? I spilled my beer? And he goes, ah, and takes off his shirt. And I go, oh my God. He goes, what, you want to fight? And I go, bro, I do not want to fight. So then I turn around and I start walking towards the cashier. And I go, look, I don't want any problem. He goes, what, you want his shirt's off? You want to fight? You want to fight? And the thing with me when I'm abroad is you don't know who these people know. So it's a little more dangerous, you know, because I've heard stories where issues have arisen and someone was arguing with a local and that local left the bar and called 40 dudes to stand outside and address the situation. Whether or not it's true or not, the damage is going to be done. So that was kind of my fear. I'm like, great. Because they did end up kicking the guy out of the bar. The bouncers came and dragged him out. And I'm like, great. Should I go home right now where he has no time? Or should I wait until he has his people, but then I just never come out of the bar because they can't come out, or they can't come in the bar, and wait until they leave. But I ended up just waiting and nothing happened, but I was still a little nervous. But the point of the story is, it's kind of like playing someone's game they just invented. Like, you don't know the rules. And so it's always best to be a guest. Do you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? It's always best to be a guest. And that's usually how I treat myself when I'm in a different country or visiting anywhere. Look at these. Look at this. I mean, not many people can wake up in the morning, go running, and have a view like this. It's pretty nice. But you just hear these stories and it just kind of makes you, you know, a little fearful just to stay home. But I mean, trouble's everywhere. And I remember this Irish guy I met via Craigslist back in 2016 because I wanted to go abroad to teach English. I got my TEFL, my teaching English as a foreign language certification. It's like 120 hours. And I was going to go teach in a school in Thailand. And he said a lot of dumb things, but he also said a lot of smart things. And the one thing he said was, when you go abroad, don't drink. I go, what? At the time, I was like, what, 23, 24? I was like, what? I love drinking. You're not going to tell me not to drink. I want to drink at a bar in another country. He goes, don't drink when you're abroad. He goes, there's enough trouble out there. And he goes, once you throw drinking into the mix, no pun intended, mixed drinks, it's just inevitable for trouble. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, which was I was on the van ride from when I landed to this isolated area on an island. And I try to really think, and I ask myself, has any good come from me being drunk? Not necessarily me drinking, but even just me drinking too. Has any good come from me drinking? And you really have to sit there and be honest with yourself. And the answer I came up with was no, because most of the time when I'm drinking, I can say no to the first beer. I can't say no to the second beer. I also can't say no to the third beer. But I realize nothing really good has happened when I drink. I met the hottest girls. No, that's not true. I met some hot girls when I was drunk, but they're also drunk. But the point being, I think the better question is, have you ever been super productive when you drank? That's a better way to phrase it. And honestly, no. Because I wouldn't be up at 6 in the morning. I left at 7, a little later today. But I wouldn't be up this early on a jog hike had I drank the night before. And I'm a yapper. As you can see, I'm 10 minutes in yapping. And sometimes I get a little slip of the tongue. And sometimes my jokes, when I am not drinking, they stop right at the line. Right at the line where it's going to be offensive. But then sometimes, when I am drinking, they tend to tiptoe across that line of offensiveness. So, ever since I've been here, I haven't drank and I haven't smoked. And even as I was brushing my teeth, I was even thinking about the New Zealand guy that I met that told me the story when he was traveling. And he was super chill. And I asked myself, as I'm brushing my teeth with my electronic toothbrush, would this guy have been as friendly to me if I was drunk? And I don't know what changes. I'd have to film myself, get someone to film me, and see what changes. But typically, those types of guys, I tend to upset. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm a little high energy. And I'm a little silly goose. And when I drink, the silliness tends to amplify. But when I'm not drinking, it tends to not. And I just remain a little more static. All right, that's the opposite of dynamic. So to me, I'm thinking maybe the best thing is to not drink. Forever? Ooh, I don't know. I love going to the bar at 12 p.m. with my dad and having a beer. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the highlights of my life. Or moving in my sister into her dorm, and she has to unpack, and me and my dad have 3 hours, and it's 1 p.m. So what do? We go get a beer, or 3. So, I don't know. I'm really trying to decide what the best approach to this is. Do I need to have designated rage weeks where I just know like this is gonna be not issues, but my designated drinking time? Good morning, good morning. Or do I just give it up altogether? So I'm kind of in that place of what to do. And it's easier to not drink and then start drinking than to continue drinking and then decide to not drink. Because usually things tend to go bad if you do the latter option. But that's kind of my mindset right now. And so far it's been pretty cool because, you know, my social skills have sort of improved, and I kind of pick up on like nuances of socially, like what is like more acceptable. One thing I noticed was when you say something to someone like a good morning rather than just saying morning, I noticed dragging it out 2 syllables or longer tends to get a better reaction from people. And I think that's because they have more time to process what's happening. Like if I'm behind someone and I say good morning, like if I say good morning to the dog, good morning, doggy. Okay, well, he's not reactive. But if it was a person, you know, they have to process a lot of things. 1, there's a new person behind me who is a, 2, is a danger. 3, what are they saying? 4, how should I respond? I'm sure there's other things that are popping into their brain. But those are kind of the priority ones. And when you do it slowly and you say it slowly, they kind of have time to process. You don't scare them, and they can formulate their own answer because they have time to. So it's little things I'm slowly picking up. And going back to drinking, would I have picked that up? I don't know. It's a shot in the dark there. But I feel good. My belly is going down. I haven't done a full body shot. I probably should. This is how I look right now, and this is day 2 of running. So this is me not flexing. Profile. My pink back. This is me kind of sucking it in. I would love to do abs, but I just don't know where I can do abs. You want to do abs? Okay, no, he doesn't want to do abs. She, I'm sorry. Or he. How do you identify? I do not know. It's 2024. We're in the, I don't know what era this is, but the alphabet era, where you choose your letter. But that's kind of my thought process for today. There's really not that much I'm thinking about. Oh, one thing I did catch myself doing as I'm on my beautiful hike here was I caught myself thinking about 2006 when I tried out for my middle school basketball team. And I just remember the way I felt. I remember the way the other kids kind of treated me because I wasn't as good. And I remember the coach yelling at me because I wasn't as good. And I kind of went into like a black hole of just bad memories and bad feelings. And then I snapped out of it because I'm like, bro, why am I thinking about something that happened nearly 20 years ago? And I'm surrounded by all this like beautiful greenery and a beautiful ocean. And I started asking myself, why did that even come in my head? You know? Oh, I remember the chain of events. I was running pretty consistently, and I started walking. And I remember my dad used to say when the basketball coach was having practice on the weekends, on Saturdays, he's like, you guys aren't going to the freaking Olympics. And he's right. And I was a little split because on one hand, it's like you want to try your best at everything you do. But then on the other hand, it's like, bro, I'm like 12, 13 years old. Like, I just want to play basketball and have fun. You know what I mean? So I was a little conflicted, and I remember just memories of trying out and the coach and the reason why I quit. And honestly, it wasn't really fun. I think the 90s sort of trained you to think sports were fun because it was like the cool thing to do. And then it turned into like rapping. And then it turned into like YouTubers and social media. That's kind of been like the trend of like what's cool. Like it was cool, like everyone who played a sport, their dream was to be a professional soccer player, professional football player. But it's kind of interesting how over the years it sort of changes. And I just caught myself thinking, why am I thinking those memories that don't make me feel good when I'm just surrounded by beautifulness? And so I had to snap myself out of it, which is tough, because you think about one memory and then it reminds you of another memory and it reminds you of another memory. And the worst is when it reminds you of your feelings, because it's like, I don't know who said it. You don't remember, I don't know what the quote is, but it's, you don't remember people's name, but you remember how they made you feel. And it's crazy to think that this teacher who taught for I don't know how many years had a contact with so many kids, and here I am 20 years later, I'm thinking about it. And it's kind of crazy. And I don't know what to do with this, It's like a nasty goop in your hand. Like, do I just keep alternating hands? Or do I just train my mind to be disciplined? Oh, look who's back. Nice break, huh? I didn't take one. Or do I just forget? Or train myself to focus on the more positive things? And I think that's kind of where I'm at, where maybe I need to have like 10 things like in the chamber of my positive gun, because I'm American, ready to go at any moment to remind me that, I should feel good. So I'll do that right now. What are 10 things that remind me that I feel good? Well, drinking a beer with my dad, that always feels good, because I can always get a new story out of him. And it's funny because I'll ask different questions, same questions, but just phrased with different words, and it yields a different story. He's kind of like ChatGPT. You just got to reprompt and put different words in to get different, what do they call it? Outputs. But 10 things that make me feel good. And that's the thing I do when I meditate too. After I meditate, I think of 10 things I'm grateful for, which is I'm happy that it's maintaining, and then 10 things I'm proud of myself for. So the 10 things I'm grateful for: I have food and water. I'm safe. I have flexibility in my schedule. I'm thankful for that. Thankful for having good health. I'm thankful for having both of my parents alive. I'm thankful for not having to owe money to anyone. I'm thankful for not being a target to anyone that's dangerous. I'm thankful for not neglecting any of my responsibilities. That's more of I'm proud of. I'm grateful for not suffering involuntarily. I'm thankful for having the opportunity to do social media. And I'm thankful for having parents that raised me to have a mindset to do whatever I want and not let other people dictate. And then you yourself can decide things you're proud of. Like usually I say I'm proud of getting my real estate license. I'm proud of getting my substitute teaching permit, even if they're little things, And I do this usually in the morning when I meditate. What are 8 more things I'm proud of myself? I'm proud of myself for waking up and going on this hike for day 2. That's number 3. I'm proud of myself for learning how to video edit. Proud of myself for continuing to make music. Proud of myself for maintaining the friendships I have with my close friends. I'm proud of myself for eating healthy. Proud of myself for drinking water. Proud of myself for not going to jail. Proud of myself for not doing hugs with a D. Proud of myself for just being an overall good person, trying to help people. But 10 good memories. Let's see here. What are 10 good memories that would make me forget about my 7th grade basketball tryouts? Which is sad, you know, talking out loud like, bro, how old are you? And you're still thinking about 7th grade. Not all the time, just right now. So I think I had a pretty good memory in Thailand with the group of people I met. That's a good memory. Good memory of having I probably should be walking on the side of the road I should be walking on. Having good memories with my dad, having beers in the middle of the day and then coming home and taking a nap. Good memories of hitting milestones when morning. You almost got hit, bro. You need to be careful. Good memories. Don't give up. What are more? Good memory of not giving up. Good memory of making really good, catchy pop songs all by myself. Good memory of, oh, here's a good one. After I would bartend like 3-4 days straight, and I would have my junk food movie days. I would close my curtains, blast the AC, and just watch movies and drink Modelo's at 10 in the morning after coffee, of course. That was the best. That was the best. And I would have limes. I'd splurge a little bit and get fresh limes. Yeah. What else is a good memory? You know, it's good just to think of really good memories. Oh, so many memories with my buddy in Brazil, my best friend. Going to different bars in his town. But the bars were like open bars. Not like open drinks, but like open spaces. So it was like, well, they were like beach bars. So maybe that's why. Just memories at the beach. You know, it's good just, I think, to just flood your head of like really good memories because it makes you feel good. Because otherwise, if you don't voluntarily do it, I think your version of the 7th grade basketball tryouts appear and they don't feel good. So I challenge you after this video just to sit and really think of, and don't stop short. I think I probably stopped short. Let me think of a few more. I'll do it when I shut off the camera. But you should just really do yours. Don't stop short of 10. You know, really think of 10 really good feel-good memories. And you've lived long enough that you can operate a computer or a smartphone. You can watch this. So I'm surely that you can get at least 10 memories. Good ones that made you feel really, really good. Oh, talking to a super pretty girl in the Netherlands. That was a good memory. What other? Oh, riding a motorbike just because I heard one. That was a good memory too. There's just a lot of good memories. Having a beer and smoking a cigarette for the first time in like 3 months. It just feels really good. Not that I'm condoning any of that because, as I said per the beginning of the video. What is that? Oh, bro, that was your dooder? No, you did it other ways back there. I can't believe this guy stuck with me the whole time. You're such a good little girl. But yeah, think of your 10. Actually comment your 10 and see if anyone else has similar good feeling memories like you. I'll comment mine too, so you can match up and hopefully spark some ideas that you forgot about. Spark some forgotten memories. But in the meantime, I'm gonna race this guy. Come on. Oh, you're tired, huh? You're tired. All right, until tomorrow.